Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. The dumbest thing said in 2018, that's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. Once in a while, I'll say something really stupid. It happens every couple of years, and people pile on. But what's fair is fair. If you say something dumb, you cannot run and you cannot hide. We're going to call you out, so here we go. Here's Mad Maxine Waters, no relation, at the California Democratic Convention.
Democrats, I don't care what the Republicans say. I say impeach 45. Impeach 45. Impeach 45. Impeach 45. My gun is bigger than your gun. My rocket is more powerful than your rocket. And on and on and on. All I see is two heads of state, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, both who have questionable agendas and questionable mental health.
First of all, Congresswoman, what are Mr. Trump's high crimes and misdemeanors? Let me know when you figure that out. You also just compared your president to a genocidal dictator. Here's what their agendas are. Little Rocket Man wants to blow up your state of California, and Donald Trump wants to prevent Little Rocket Man from blowing up your state of California. Maybe you should get your head checked. Speaking of mental health, Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, whose office botched the Parkland school shooting case, thinks everything is going great.
Are you really not taking any responsibility for the multiple red flags that were brought to the attention of the Broward Sheriff's Office about this shooter before the incident?
Jake, I could only take responsibility for what I knew about. I exercised my due diligence. I've given amazing leadership to this agency.
Amazing leadership? Do you think that if the Broward Sheriff's Office had done things differently, this shooting might not have happened?
Listen, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, O.J. Simpson would still be in the record books.
What does that even mean? The sheriff had 45 calls to the shooter's house, and his deputies sat outside the building while the shooter killed over a dozen people. Wake up, Sheriff. You sound ridiculous. And Hollywood celebrity Barbra Streisand actually had the nerve to blame the Parkland school shooting on President Trump. She told Variety magazine, quote, "I think even that the shooter was affected because Trump brings out the violence in people." That's idiotic. Apparently, Trump brings out the stupidity in you, because Barbara topped herself and floated this conspiracy theory, quote, "I really believe she won the election, Hillary. I've talked to senators from Michigan and Wisconsin. I do believe, like I believed during Bush, they were playing with those voter machines." First of all, that's funny. The only people who think Hillary won are Barbara and Hillary. And second of all, a Fox News producer called the senators from Michigan and Wisconsin, and guess what? They say they've never even spoken to Barbara before. Here's what I'm sure you've heard before. Nancy Pelosi on the $1,000 bonus checks given to workers.
In terms of the bonus that corporate America received versus the crumbs that they are giving to workers to kind of put the schmooze on, is so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
Earth to Nancy. When you're worth about $45 million, as you are, $1,000 is crumbs. But when you're making around $80,000 a year, like most families, $1,000 is a loaf, not a crumb. Not to be outdone, Nancy's colleague, crying Chuck Schumer, actually said on the Senate floor he wouldn't vote for President Trump's judicial nominee because of the color of his skin.
The nomination of Marvin Quattlebaum speaks to the overall lack of diversity in President Trump's selections for the federal judiciary. Mr. Quattlebaum replaces not one, but two scuttled Obama nominees who were African American. Having a diversity of views and experience on the federal bench is necessary for the equal administration of justice. I'll be voting no on the Quattlebaum nomination.
Senator, at least try not to sound racist. But this just goes to show that Schumer cares more about the color of one's skin than the content of one's character. President Barack Obama, a lot more savvy when it came to race than Chuck Schumer, but I guess it's gone to his head. The former president actually had this to say.
One of the things I'm proud of in my administration was the fact that, and I think these things are connected, we didn't have a scandal that embarrassed us. There were mistakes we'd screw up, but there there wasn't anything venal during 8 years, and that's, I know that seems like a low bar, but
Now, it's easy not to be embarrassed if you don't feel shame. And Obama never really felt shame because the media always covered for him. People actually died in the wake of Obama's scandals. The VA, Fast and Furious, Benghazi. The president let ISIS take over a third of Iraq, and the death toll is still mounting. People pled the fifth, destroyed evidence. And his scandals cost this country billions. From Solyndra, the Obamacare website fiasco, or how about all the cash that was shipped to Iran that wound up in the hands of Hezbollah? But 44, as Maxine would say, was never very much in touch with reality. That brings us to Joy Behar. Many of you remember the View host slandered Vice President Mike Pence because he talks to God.
It's one thing to talk to Jesus. It's another thing when Jesus talks to you.
Exactly. Okay, well, that's different.
That's different. That's called mental illness, if I'm not correct.
If listening to the Lord is crazy, what does that make Oprah, who said she'd look to God for guidance on politics?
God, if you think I'm supposed to run, you got to tell me. And it has to be so clear that not even I could miss it.
And political correctness running wild in this country, and some people have gone off the rails. Tucker Carlson talked to liberal journalist Kathy Aru about whether it's inappropriate to use the word man.
What if they were shopping at Goldman Sachs? They might come up short because it's a bank.
Because the name man is adult male, and yeah, we need to change it. Like woman, I mean, it has the word man in there, so just call us a person.
Uh-huh. So gold person Sachs, would that be better?
I think so. I'm less offended, yes.
I mean, I don't even have anything to say to that. The master of politically correct gender pronouns, though, is our friend up north, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Maternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to look into
we
that.
like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive.
I don't think it gets any dumber than that. But it did. Now, we've been told cultural appropriation is offensive. White people can't dress up as Indians for Halloween. You can't serve tacos on Cinco de Mayo, stuff like that. We're told it's inappropriate. But the Canadian Prime Minister, who we're pretty sure is white, went to India and wore this. And he even topped himself and busted out traditional Indian dance moves. I don't know about that. That is what I call dumb and dumber.